Hello, Lori with Care Partners Resource, coming to you today to talk about CARthartic conversations. In May, the one thing that we talked about, the topic was my life, starring everyone but me. Do you ever feel that way? Like you're going day by day by day by day, and you are just a stand in to your own life. Everybody else has priorities over you. And that can become, oh, really frustrating and debilitating in a lot of ways, especially when you're caring for someone else as a caregiver. So, what we talked about were some strategies in discovering why it is that we let ourselves be pushed to the bottom of the list and others are more important. We have to ask ourselves, when you're starting to prioritize your day, what exactly do you look at? What do you think about? Or do you even prioritize your day? Do you just wake up and put your boots on and get to moving, right? And in a lot of cases, when we're caring for someone else, that's exactly what we do because we never really know what's going to come up. But we need to kind of understand, why is it that we prioritize everyone except ourselves? And I know we know this at a conscious level. We understand that if we don't take care of ourselves, those that we are caring for aren't getting the best care from us because, we're depleted, we're tired, we're, stressed out, we have a short temper, whatever the case may be. You know why that happens? It's not because you're a bad person. It's because you're normal, you're natural. It's, you're human. You're a caregiver. You're not a saint. And that's why I named my book that. You're a caregiver, not a saint. But the most important part of that title is the right, WRITE. Journal writing or therapeutic journal writing is a great way to dig into those deep-seated feelings and emotions that we have to understand why we don't put ourselves first and how we can get to moving ourselves up the list of importance. There is a writing technique called the 5-minute sprint, and that's one thing that we did in my class in May. And that was, we started with asking ourselves, what is important? How do I prioritize my day? Or here's another prompt to start. Why do I feel that everyone else is more important than me? Those are just a couple of the writing prompts that we used to get to understanding why we don't prioritize ourselves and why it feels wrong especially when we're caring for someone. And when I say caring for someone, that we're all sort of caregivers. If you're a spouse, you're a caregiver. If you have children, even if you have your parents living with you and you're caring for them, or even they're healthy. In a lot of ways, we are all caregivers. And so it's important to ask ourselves how we can stay at the top of that, how we can maintain our stardom in our own life, right? Another topic or another writing technique that could help is to ask yourself, what are 5 ways that you can prioritize yourself throughout the day? And what are 2 things that you need to feel important and cared for and rested? And what is 1 thing that you can do right now to change how you feel about yourself? These are all some pretty simple techniques. There's also we also did a little bit of character sketch writing, which means we look at ourselves and we wrote for, only 5 minutes. It doesn't take all day. You don't have to sit down and write for an hour to get to the core of what's going on. But sometimes we might think that, hey, I'm doing fine. I'm great. I'm handling things really well. Yes, I may be a little tired or I might feel a little stressed out, but I'm doing pretty good considering the whole situation. So a character sketch is where you write a typical day or a typical circumstance that's going on. Like maybe you're making breakfast for your loved one or for your family. But what does that look like to maybe a stranger, a neighbor who's walking by and stops for a minute and is looking in your window? What do they see? What is the expression on your face? What is the um, attitude, the overall energy that they're feeling or seeing coming from you? Do you find joy in your day and the things that you're doing? So there's a lot of ways that you can learn about yourself writing from another person's perspective. The other thing that I didn't mention yet, and that is what we call the perspective write. So after you do a journal technique, you always want to read what you wrote, and then you want to write for 2 or 3 more minutes, starting with, reading this, I realize, or reading this, I'm understanding, or I didn't realize, or I'm surprised by. Any of those type of prompts that you started after you've read your write is a way to help you have an aha moment. You know, you may think that you're doing things out of joy and out of love and you're fine, which, by the way, I call a caregiver's 4-letter F word because we all say we're fine. And sadly, when we dig into it, there could be some things that we could do to improve our way we feel, you know, our attitude of gratitude, as they say. And, you know, we do this caregiving thing, we go on this journey, oftentimes without understanding what the entire process is, without understanding the entire scope of the caregiving journey, what it is like to have someone else's day depend on you. It's quite challenging, and to feel stressed out, to feel sad, to feel angry, those are all natural emotions. And again, you're human, you're a caregiver, you're not a saint. So don't beat yourself up about having these natural emotions. Anyway, if you happen to be interested and would like a recording and a copy of the PowerPoint that we did last month, please feel free to email me at Lori, that's Lori, at CARePartnersResource.com, or go to my website, CARePartnersResource.com, and check out all the other writing prompts and different resources that I offer there free of charge. And you know why I can do that? I can do that because Colorado Respite Coalition has been kind enough for the last several years to sponsor me and support my opportunities to do these classes and to offer this information. They support me so that I can give this information to you free of charge. So I want to thank them from the bottom of my heart. And also you might check them out. Again, Colorado Respite Coalition. They offer a lot of resources for caregivers. And then if you really want to try some therapeutic writing techniques, check out my book on Amazon. It's called You're a Caregiver, Not a Saint. Yeah, Right. WRITE. And the first part is about my journey of caring for both of my parents for 8 years and how I used therapeutic writing as a resource. And the back part of the book is a workbook that gives you writing techniques as well as writing prompts that are pretty typical in a caregiver's day-to-day reality. Again, thank you so much for tuning in, and I look forward to hearing from you either in the comments here on YouTube or email me at Lori at CarePartnersResource.com. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next month.